Okay, and I'm back. So I was saying that um, doing the inner work and saying your affirmations can be either a roadblock or it can be a pathway. And so this morning when I was doing my studying about that, again, I don't really want to say studying because I wasn't really studying, but I was just doing my research and trying to figure out why this certain set of affirmations for me didn't feel good. And I'm all about saying words that resonates. Like I always say, don't just affirm anything. Affirm what resonates with you. Whatever wording that you need to put together. And even when I do guided affirmations, sometimes if you're saying the affirmations and something you need to change a phrase or change a word, do that because you have to feel it for yourself first. And so these set of affirmations, I always felt resistance. And so I wanted to know, why do I feel resistance? And now I know that those set of affirmations had become a roadblock for me as opposed to a pathway. So I want to share my notes with you. What I wrote down, I think I said in the previous video too. I'm thinking about writing an ebook about this because it's important for people to know when it comes to affirmations and even prayers, because I think that affirmations are a form of prayer. So um, this is how they can become a roadblock. Because what happens is it becomes um, affirming over emotional bypassing. In other words, if you affirm what you're affirming, you may be saying positive words, but you are, I'm going to say, suppressing some deeper issues, or you're trying to bypass, trying to make yourself feel good and make yourself feel better. I checked a book out from the library that I didn't get a chance to read all of it, called Toxic Positivity. And in that case, the author was saying, if someone comes to you and say, I just got laid off, and you're all positive, but you don't give that person a chance to process their emotions or anything like that. So when affirmations, you choose affirmations um, over emotional registry, meaning that you check in with your emotions and you don't allow your emotions to be suppressed because you're saying your affirmations. That's how it can become a roadblock. Um, and when you do that, that creates inner conflict because you're saying one thing, but you're feeling something completely different. Now, there is a difference between saying to shift your feelings, affirming to shift your feelings and shift, the vibration that you're operating in the moment. That's one thing. But what I'm talking about is the constant repeating of the same affirmation, but then you don't feel connected to it, you don't feel it in any way, and you're saying it just to be saying it as opposed to really allowing it um, to change yourself, your mindset, or even your emotions, or a condition or situation in your life. The second way or reason why uh, affirmations can become roadblocks is they become surface level. And so you're just saying words again, just saying words and not necessarily embodying what you're saying, which is why, again, doing the guided affirmation, I always say breathe to integrate. Breathe to integrate. So making sure that you're not repeating affirmations without feeling, but you're also embodying that you're repeating affirmations without feeling, but you are embodying what you're talking about. And this is where the law of vision comes to play, the law of feeling comes to play. because when you're saying the affirmation, you want to see yourself being it, doing it, having it, going there, all of that. You want to see that in your mind's eye, but also you want to feel it in your heart. And so when you start to affirm versus embodiment, meaning I'm going to say it affirm as in using words over embodiment, then that's when it can become a roadblock. Another one is you neglect your inner work. Affirmations are a byproduct of inner work. Okay, affirmations are not inner work. Okay, let's say that, and let's pause right there. Affirmations are not inner work. They are a byproduct or a tool even of inner work, but they are not inner work. So you have to get to a space where you are um, doing your healing work, your inner child work, your shadow work, um, undoing, uh, deprogramming, reprogramming, relearning, all of that. That's important. And then another way that it can become uh, it can become a roadblock is you become over attached to that those words. You become so attached to the words to where they're just words and they have no meaning for you at all. And so with that, um, when you start to experience affirmations as a roadblock, these are a few things that can happen. You become angry and frustrated and don't know why you're angry and frustrated. Also, too, let me say this because our nervous system, and I'm learning this and have been reading about the nervous system for the past year or so, but our nervous system, it knows, okay. And so when you're just saying things, you're frustrated in your nervous system because even though the words you're affirming are positive words, your body knows that you don't believe it. And so that creates anger and frustration within you. Also, you start to feel unheard, you start to feel unseen, and you also feel unsupported. That's how I was with that set of affirmations. Like, is this even getting through? So you feel unheard, unseen, and unsupported. Another thing that happens is um, you doubt yourself. You doubt yourself. You start to doubt what you're saying, what you're believing, what you're trying to reprogram in your life. You start to just have some self-doubt. Another one is you send an energetic resistance out into the universe because you're saying one thing that goes with that conflict again, inner conflict. You're saying one thing, but you're feeling another. You don't believe what you say, and I'm not talking about affirmations that you say one or two times. I'm talking about affirmations that you say repeatedly, and you see no changes. You see no changes within you, meaning that you feel it or you can see it, but you also see no changes in the movement of conditions and situations in your life. Okay. Another thing is you lose focus of what truly matters. You lose focus of what truly matters. And this is because you're so focused on what you don't have that you don't really focus on what really matters. So that's what happened to me. I was so focused using these set of affirmations on the affirmations were the root of the affirmations was what I don't have that I was trying to have in my life. And it was like, um, all I'm doing is one, reinforcing what I don't have, but also two, focusing on what I don't have and not necessarily focusing on what is important in my life in the moment. Another one is that your words become vain repetition. And this is what I woke up this morning in prayer. And vain repetition. Your affirmations can become vain repetitions. And they're just words that have no meaning, basically, is what that is. Vain repetition, words that have no meaning. And another one is, and this is the last one, is that you stop believing. You actually stop believing. So those are 7 things that happens when your affirmations become roadblocks. I'll give you those one more time. Number one, you become angry and frustrated. Number two, you feel unheard, unseen, and unsupported. Number three, you doubt yourself. Number four, you send an energetic resistance into the universe. I actually have ether in my notes. I'm learning. But um, number four, five is you lose focus on what truly matters. Number six, your words become vain repetition. And number seven, you stop believing. So let's talk about vain repetition. Vain repetition is when we speak affirmations, but we don't embody them. And they become hollow, they become shallow, and they feel like you're trying to convince yourself as opposed to really believing, as opposed to really, um, I guess the word is embody the energy of or the feeling of what you are desiring to manifest in your life. So, vain repetition happens when our words are disconnected from our heart. When our words are disconnected from our heart and we're speaking them more like a mantra and not necessarily speaking them with meaning and even believing what we're saying. But true affirmations isn't something that you say over and over, hoping that it works. Okay. True affirmations is about um, anchoring into that statement, anchoring into it, which is why, again, I've always said, and if you go back and listen to any class that I've taught about affirmations or even just my talk about affirmations, is never just choose random affirmations. Um, I'm even intentional about the guided affirmations because I realize that it's important that we be intentional with the words that we choose to affirm over our lives. Remember, we had our soulful, I keep wanting to call it soulful living hour. Our sacred soul session was about sovereignty. You have complete autonomy over your life. You are the governor, you are the head of state, you are the priestess of your life. And so you have the ability to shape your world by being intentional about the words that you speak. We're learning the power of words in politics right now. And that's all I'm going to say about that. But as a leader of your own life, as the author, we want to say co author, co creator of your own life, your own conditions, your own situations and circumstances, you have to be intentional about your words and speak those affirmations that are true affirmations and not those vain repetitions affirmations. Scripture says, the word became flesh and dwelt among us. Of course, it's saying Jesus, Yeshua, is the word made manifest, but also your words, the words that you speak out of your mouth, they, with belief and with intention, they manifest. Those vain words, they don't manifest. They're just words that you're just putting out there. And the reason why they don't manifest is because they're not coming from your heart. They're coming from maybe what someone else has said, maybe what someone else has, what someone else is doing, and not from you. Which is why having your own relationship with God is important. And in that relationship, spending time in prayer, in meditation, listening, hearing what God has to say to you, for you, and about you. I've been going through a deep undoing the last couple of weeks, like a deep undoing. And it's not scary, it's enlightening. I've cried and shed some tears. But it's it's really a spirit shift, and that's all it is. It's a spirit shift. And in the spirit shift, I'm becoming aware that my words did not hold any power. Those words, I'm going to say it that way. My words hold power. Let me just say that my words hold power, but those words did not hold power. And the reason why those words did not hold power, because I was speaking something that I wanted and not something that was a true desire. And also, too, I'm processing that. I wanted but wasn't a true desire. That's absolutely true. But the want was sort of connected to the desire, but I had not connected with the desire within me first. So, with that, some more of my notes is when the inner work is complete and we are fully embodying the truth, then our words often fall away because there is no longer a need to convince ourselves. In other words, you start to live. This is when you do the inner work. You start to live it, be it, do it, have it. And there's no need to affirm. And it's so funny because there is a version of me that exists. And when I connect with that version of me that exists, her language is not the language of those set of affirmations that I was saying. She doesn't speak about it because she embodies it. That's just who she is. That's just her presence, you know? So, um, the way to move beyond vain repetition and embodied beliefs is speak only what aligns. Speak only what aligns with your inner truth in the moment. Listen to what I just said. Only what aligns to your inner truth. Yours. Your inner truth. Not anybody else's. Seek within. Go within to see. Ask yourself, what do I desire? And if you don't know, God, show me what your desire is for my life, because our desires are God's desires. What we desire is what God desires for us. And I'm talking about true desire, not worldly desire, but true desire, which is aligned with who you're here to be and what you're here to experience. Because the truth is, those desires are God's desires to experience those things through you, as you. Okay? Um, Another way to move beyond vain repetition and embody um, your affirmations through belief is um, use fewer words but with deeper conviction. Sometimes we can say a whole lot of words. And I know I can put a whole lot of words together. I put lots of words together. But I'm always intentional about the words that I even put together, because it's like I need to feel this deep within myself. I need to know what this means for me, which is why I listened to this audio for a couple of years every day. And it was an audio, affirmation audio. And in it, the lady who was doing the affirmation, she said, we have the life we have, or the life we manifest. I want to get her words exactly right, but I can't recall it right this moment. But she was saying that the life we manifest, the life we live, is a result of our definitions and our beliefs. So using any and every kind of word that don't mean anything, that's what definition is, what it means to you, which is why we have the word of the week. That's what inspired me to start doing the word of the week, because our definitions, what we have put meaning to, what we define certain things and certain words as, it has meaning to us. So just using random words or any words or words that sound good or look good or feel good, and when I say feel good, I'm talking about surface level feeling, but I mean using words that really deeply resonates deep within your heart. And the last one is focus on the feeling of the reality of what you desire, not just say it. Neville Goddard says you have to think from the end. Don't think towards the end. Don't think, example I always like to give is, don't think, so we can say, um, you know, I want to go on a beach vacation. Well, you can think about the beach vacation. You can think of maybe what things you're going to do, and where you're going to stay and how you're going to get there, and what is required to be there. That's thinking about it. That's thinking of it. But thinking with the end in mind, or thinking as if, is you in your mind on the beach, feeling the sand in your toes, feeling the water rush to your legs as you walk closer to the ocean. That's what feeling and embodying it is. And so we have to start doing that when we say our affirmations. And I'm going to add another one to my notes too. Let me get my pen so I can add this. Is to breathe into your affirmations, which is why I created guided affirmations. I created guided affirmations in 2014, 11 years ago, because I recognized then the power of breath and words, breath and words, breath and words. When we breathe, what we're doing is we're integrating those words into our selves, into our feelings. And then you also, I always say, put your hand over your throat when you talk and feel the vibration of your voice. And understand and know that your voice has the tone, the pitch, the vibrato, the whatever you want to call it. It has all of that only your body and your cells respond to, which is why the voice of God sounds like your voice. And we often don't teach that. We often think that the voice of God is this voice that's going to come from heaven, or this voice of James Earl Jones or somebody, this big, heavy, thick voice that's going to speak to us. But no, it's your own voice that speaks in your heart, that echoes in your heart, which is why your words matter. A part of our Gorgeous Souls declaration is, my words do not return to me void. Therefore, I am mindful of what I create with what I say. Think about that. Your words that you speak does not return to you void. I'm going to say except the vain repetitious words, because they're not heart words. Your words do not return to you void. Therefore, you have to be mindful of what you say when you speak. Be mindful of that. So that's my nugget for today. I do want to kind of, I've read this before and I want to read it again. It's from the book The God in You by Robert Collier. Such a powerful book. Um, but this one thing that he says about affirmations, he says prayers and affirmations are not for the purpose of influencing God. He has already done his part. All of good, all of good is always available to each of us. Our prayers and affirmations are for the purpose of bringing our own minds to the point where we can accept God's gifts. We don't need to work on conditions, we only need to work on ourselves. The only place we can cure our lacks and our troubles is in our own minds. When we have done it there, we shall find that they have been cured everywhere. And so that's all I want to read about that is a little bit more. But it's here, it's here, and it's here. Your mind, your thoughts. I think the thoughts of God. I think the thoughts of God. I see what God puts in my mind to see. But more importantly, I feel what God puts in my heart to feel. And as a result of thinking, seeing, and feeling, then my words create my world. My words create my life. So, with that, thank you for being a part of Inner Work Community. A couple of things that I want to say. Number one is I canceled tonight's class, the monthly session. I've been wanting to come back and teach for months now because we started off with that amazing True Self series, and then Spirit was like, "Nope, don't teach any more of that." Um, and I'm listening. I'm listening. I am listening. I want to be very intentional on the things that I share in this community. So then I was thinking, okay, well, I'm in a new place, new divine position in my life right now. So I'm going to teach on divine positioning. And I had to push the class back a couple of times. And Spirit told me today, because it's not time for you to teach yet. It's time for you to continue to provide the supplements, the small nuggets here and there, but not fully come back and teach yet. So I just want to let you know that we'll be doing probably another challenge in June. Um, but I am not released at this moment to fully teach a class. And it feels weird because I'm always teaching. I'm always preparing to teach. I have a notebook. It's right there where I will write down classes and classes and classes and classes and classes. Um, so I'm always preparing to teach. So to not be even preparing to teach or do anything, it feels weird. But I am being a willing participant in my miracles, and that requires me to just not teach right now, but to continue to come here and provide this and do our sessions, our inner work hour, and all of the other supplements. Um, I am listening to see, what it is that God wants me to do and how God wants me to move. And that's all I have right now. So thank you. Thank you for your patience. I think next month, because a couple of years ago, it's 2 or 3 years ago, I think it was about 3 years ago, I did a 7-day affirmation challenge. I think, I'm thinking, and I'm going to just ask you to vote. It will be either an affirmation challenge or a mirror work challenge, one of the two. So we'll see. I feel like I can get your opinion and see what you want so that I can provide it for you. But that's going to be for the month of June, and it'll only be for 7 days. Um, Other than that, from Brittany, and myself. Have a great Wednesday evening, rest of your week, and happy new month, which will be in a couple of days. And I'm listening. I think that's it. Take care.